permanently put your new foldable in there, I'm going to make sure it's done correctly and stamp it. I will be stamping 2 pages today to make sure they're done right. You need to title the page 3.3 slope intercept form. Left side, yes. And I need you to get your yellow photo set up correctly. I've kind of shown a picture up here. Let me move this up if it will let me. Yeah. Oops, right there. So get it folded. Don't cut until you get it folded correctly, because you should have the tab showing where it says writing equations in slope intercept form. So there's an example up here to make sure you have it set up correctly. And then when you have it folded and set it up correctly, you're going to cut the bold line at the top and the dotted lines for your tabs. Okay? And then I'll come by and make sure you have it in the spiral correctly. Don't put it in the center. You're going to run out of room if you do that. So I'm going to get you time to get set up. Yeah. 8th period. Yeah. Yeah. It's the last day. Last day. Okay. If you didn't get your stamp, I'm still going to come around. I'm going to tell you what you need to put next to each tab. So the first one we have, let me move this over, because you should have some space over here next to your slope and y-intercept tab. We need to write that the slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. I think some of you are already familiar with this form. We're just going to reinforce what you know. Standard is always plus, but you can have plus or minus when you're writing the equation. We're going to practice that. Also, I need you to denote that the m represents the slope and your b represents your y-intercept, and I'm going to abbreviate that, which is always the point where it crosses the y-axis. So it'll always be the point 0b. So we're going to put key information for each tab, like the steps or the things you need to know to help you study. And then we're going to do some practice problems. I think we have about 8 of them, and I'm going to stamp your tabs today. So there's going to be some practice problems that we'll do together, and then there's some that you're going to do on your own. All right, so that's the slope and the y-intercept. For a graph, excuse me, let me move this over. On the graph, there's some steps and things you need to recognize. First, you will need to find your m using your rise over run. Okay? So when you're given a graph, you need to always find your m using rise over run. You could use the formula, but this is the easier way. Second, you need to find your b, basically, which is your y-intercept. That is your point 0b. Oops, that doesn't look like a b. And I know my thing is not working. Understand, I'm going to make a little side note. This is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. That's a B. This is a B. Yeah. So we're going to use the line that is given to us, and then we're going to find the slope using the rise over run. We're going to find the y-intercept. That's the point where the line crosses the y-axis. And then our last step is just to plug it in. Plug it into the form y equals mx plus b. We're going to substitute and plug it in. So, because today you're going to be given 4 different types of problems. One will be a graph, one will be a slope and y-intercept, one will be 2 points, so we're going to make sure you know what to do. The goal is to get the foldable and the guided practice done. I'm going to stamp and check for both, okay? So it'll be a left side and the right side, and then we have a bingo activity if we can get through this, okay? Winner gets candy. So I have different types there, okay? All right, next one. Did you need that one? Alright, so on our next tab, which is a point and the slope, okay? So if you're given the point and the slope, sorry, oh, I forget this doesn't work. First, we're going to use your point and your slope. You're going to use it with the y equals mx plus b. Second, we're going to plug it in. Last, the third step, we're going to solve for b, the y-intercept. We're going to solve for b. So make sure you have those 3 steps whenever given a point and a slope. And then our last tab, does anyone still need these? Anyone need these steps? Alright, our last tab is whenever you're given 2 points. And I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. There we go. Alright, so whenever you're given 2 points, the first thing you're going to do is find the slope using m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, we did this on the last little unit. So you're going to use the slope formula first. Okay. Second, you're going to use, and I probably need to come down. It looks too tight. I don't like that. Use a given point and you're going to plug it in. Y equals mx plus b. We're using y equals mx plus b every time. Slide you down. Oops. And then last, just like on a step before, solve for, bless you, for b. Okay? We're going to solve for b. Alright, so the first one I know you're probably already familiar with, slope and intercept form. So all we're going to do is plug in the m, plug in the b, write the equation. All they want you to do is to write the equation for each one. So if I look at the first example, it says write an equation of a line with the slope of 5. So that means m equals 5. So write that, denote which part you have. And the y-intercept of 3. So that means your b equals, so excuse me, a negative 3. And now we're going to take that information and just plug it into our form for slope-intercept form. So we're going to substitute the m and the b. So our equation would be y equals 5x minus 3. And we're going to box that because that's our final answer. And we have written the equation for that line. So try number 2. We just did one together. Try number 2. See if you can pull out the slope and the y-intercept and write the equation. Alright, check your understanding. Hopefully you got the slope m was the negative 2/3, the b was 4. We just plugged it in. We have our equation, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. Alright, are we okay on that one? Yeah. Alright, let's go to the graph. Alright, so our steps for writing an equation when given a graph, we got to find the slope off the graph using the rise over run. Also find the y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis, and then plug it in. So on this first one, they've given us our 2 points. Remember, we're going to read it from left to right. So automatically looking at this line, what is happening here? It's negative because it's decreasing. All right. So I'm going to go from this point. I'm going to do my rise over run. So that's going down 2 units. So that's a -2. And then going to the right, 4. So my m is a -2/4, which can be reduced to -1/2. Okay, so that's my first step, finding the slope using rise over run. Second step is I'm going to go on my graph and I'm going to find where it crosses the y-axis. This is the y-axis up here. It crosses the y-axis at what point?
0, negative.
Yeah, 0, -2, right? So now I have my b. My b is at -2. So now all I'm going to do is plug it in to my form that we just used a while ago, mx plus b. So I'm just going to plug in the parts, and now I have my equation for the line. Y equals -1/2 x minus 2. Okay? All right, you try the next graph. Number 4 is yours. Okay, so we should have went up 3 to the right 1. So most of y'all wrote 3/1 as your slope. Okay, this also equals 3. And then you can see that the y-intercept, it crosses the y-axis. The b is at 0, 1 equals 3x plus 1, or some of you wrote y equals 3/1 x plus 1. The simplified form would be this, the 3x plus 1. Okay, yeah, get in the habit of always getting the simplest form. Yeah. Okay, I would give you credit because they say the same, they mean the same thing, but that's just a simplified form. Okay. All right, so on our next tab, a point and a slope. The first thing we have to do is use the slope and the point with the y equals mx plus b, and we're going to plug it in, then solve for b. So just make sure we're on the same page. On our number 5, your point is the -1, 3. Okay, understand that this represents the x and the y. Okay, your slope, your m is a -4. So I'm going to take this information and use it with our form, our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. I'm going to substitute it in. So this 4 goes where m is going to go. Okay, and then I'm going to put the -1 where x is and the +3 where y is. I'm just drawing arrows to see where I'm going to substitute each part. So instead of saying y, I now know y is going to be 3. Instead of putting m, I'm now going to put what? The -4, yes. I forgot to put my negative sign over there. Doop. Okay, and then instead of putting x, what am I going to do? -1. We're going to plug in a -1. Now we're going to say plus b because we're going to solve for b. That's our last step, solving for b. All right, so we're going to simplify. We're going to go ahead and do the multiplication because order of operation. So 3 equals -4 times the -1 is going to be a +4 plus b. Now we got to solve for b. We got to isolate the b. So what would I need to do to solve for b? Yep, subtract 4 from both sides. This 4 becomes 0. 3 minus 4, leave me with a -1 equals b. And now I know my equation because I now have my b and I have my slope. So my equation would be y equals -4x minus 1. Okay. -4x minus 1. So let's look at this next one. Here's our slope. Here's our points, x and y, the 8 and the -4. We're going to substitute it into our equation, y equals mx plus b. So instead of writing y, what value do I know I have for y? Negative 4. So we're going to have negative 4 equals, instead of the m, negative 3/4 times 8 plus b. There we go. Now we want to simplify. What's a negative 3/4 times 8? Negative 6. So I get negative 4 equals negative 6 plus b. Because they did negative 3/4 times 8. Which basically is to say negative 3 times 8 is a negative 24. Divided by 4, negative 6. Alright, now we got to solve for b. What is b? Yeah, plus 6. Sorry, plus 6. So b is going to equal 2. Alright, well, now we're rocking. So let's get it in the equation. Y is going to equal, yep, negative 3/4 x plus 2. Good job. Okay. So that's when you have a point and the slope. Okay. Now you are also going to be given, these are type of problems you're going to have on your bingo game today. You might have a problem where you are just given 2 points. Okay. So our steps for 2 points is now we're going to have to find the slope using the slope formula. Do everything we just did before. Plug it in, solve for b. So, oops. On problem 7, the first thing we're going to do is find the m using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're going to plug in our change in y over our change of x. So what values represent our change in y on the top? Yeah, negative 1 minus 5. Then we have 2 minus negative 2. Negative 1 minus 5. Negative 6. 2 minus a negative 2. And then negative 6 over 4 can be reduced to, so my m is negative 3 over 2. That's the first thing we need. Now we're going to plug it in using a given point. Well, I already have a point. We have this first point. It doesn't matter which one you use. We got to use one of your given points. We know that's the x and a y. So instead of writing y, I'm now going to say 5 equals the negative 3 over 2, because that's my m, times the negative 2 plus b. And we're going to solve for b. What? Yeah, like I'm just going to use a point. And then I'm going to do just like we did before. Substitute in. Alright, 5 equals a negative 3 over 2 times a negative 2. If I did this one? Yeah, I would get the same answer. Yeah. Alright, so this should be 3 plus b, right? And then we solve for b by subtracting 3 on both sides. So 2 equals b. Now I can write my equation. What's the equation for this line? Yeah, plus 2. Alright, so on this one, notice that now they're giving us we want to write the equation for the linear function. Remember, this is read f of 4 equals 9, okay? And the function of negative 4 equals a negative 7. I'm still going to do the first step. The first step says we still want to do y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Okay, so, huh? Yeah, f of 4, f of something would be the x, because we usually write f of x. So now we know what number is representing x. What numbers are our x? 4. Yep, and the y would be the 9. Over here, negative 4. And then this negative 7. So on the top, I can have negative 7 minus 9 over,
Negative 4 minus 4.
yeah, negative 4 minus 4. Negative 7 minus 9 gives me a negative 16 over a negative 8. Negative 16 divided by negative 8. Positive 2. So my M is a positive 2. What am I going to have to do now? What would be the second step?
Plug it in.
Yeah, plug in the parts in. So what's going to be, instead of writing y equals mx plus b, what represents the y?
9.
The 9 represents the y. So 9 equals 2.
Why isn't it negative step?
I could use that one too. I would get the same answer. 2 times 4 plus b. If you want to, you can try that one. And you'll get the same answer as we're doing right now. Okay. Alright. So we get 9 equals 8 plus b. What is b going to be?
1.
Yep. So our equation, y equals 2x plus 1. Did you get 1? And?
So for this one,
Okay, hopefully m is 3, b is a negative 5. Are we okay on that? Alright, m on number 2 should be 0, b is a negative 5. Question on that? Because some of you have it flipped, I noticed. Okay, so I need you to write down this acronym. H-O-Y. Okay?
Holy.
Yes. OY. OY is going to represent for horizontal lines. Instead of this being O, this is going to be like our zero slope. Our slope equals 0 for horizontal lines. So whenever you have a horizontal line, you have a 0 slope. And the equation of a horizontal line is y equals the y-intercept, or the y-coordinate. Let me put the y-coordinate. That's going to be better for y'all. Because sometimes I'm going to give you points. So, y equals the y-coordinate. Alright, so that's OI.
Holy.
Horizontal, 0 slope, y equals the y-coordinate. Alright, this next one. V, oh, pen doesn't work, I forgot. V, U, X. Okay? V is going to be for vertical lines. U is going to be for undefined. And now it's x equals the x coordinate. Alright, with that being said, if I know m is a negative 1, b is 3, the equation should be,
negative 1. Plus 2.
yeah, negative 1x plus 3. Or you could say, and write this down, simplified, y equals a negative x plus 3. If my coefficient is a 1, I don't have to write it. Okay? Now, if my m is 0, my slope is 0, and my y-intercept, my b is a negative 11.
Y equals negative 11.
Yep, y equals negative 11. And
0x.
nope, no 0x.
If it's 0, then you have it back.
Yeah. Anything times 0 is 0, so we don't have it there, so it's done. All right, we'll start on bingo on Monday. I will stamp if I didn't get the right side on Monday. I need calculators put up. We got stacked chairs.